Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you today? I've got everything going on. Today we're talking about cleaning up energy. Have you got threads that are sort of loose and sort of hanging around and they're actually stopping you from achieving what you want to create? Like stopping your desires from actually being able to manifest. Let's talk about all of the things. I'd love for you to put in the chat how you are today. And if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay in the comments. Let me just see. Yes, I'm on live. There I am. Or I was. So let me know in the comments if you feel like this is going to relate to you. You might be a bit curious, like, what am I talking about? What am I talking about when it comes to energy and cleaning up the threads of energy? You might not have any idea what I'm talking about, but energy has different frequencies, and its vibration can actually create lower energy within us, and we are very unconscious to it because energy is very subtle. Energy can be really subtle. So we might walk into our bedroom, for example, and we haven't made the bed in the morning, and that energy of not making the bed is so subtle because you may not be aware that your frequency sees that and makes some sort of assessment about it, right? You may have memories of you had to make your bed every morning at home when you were growing up, and so it was one of your chores, it was one of the things that you were supposed to do. And if you haven't made your bed, this little tiny nudge, who had to make their bed as part of what they did every morning when they were growing up? Because if you haven't made your bed, and it seems really simple, right? But it's this little tiny moment where there's this micro programming that will make some sort of belief, judgment, assessment. Even if you didn't have to make your bed and you don't make your bed, you can still have a moment, right? This recognition. I'm just using this as an example. And so there's this recognition and there's this feeling that's associated with that recognition. And so that feeling is part of your frequency, is part of who you are. And so these things make a difference to our life, right? So I want to go over and talk about different parts of our lives to do a bit of an assessment today on where you're at with different, like it's sort of like a pyramid we're going to talk about, right? The layering of our energy, and as it affects us in different parts of our world, in different parts of our life. So throw in the chat if you feel like your energy has little threads, like the way you can experience that, or the way is because you then have a little bit of an erratic energy, or you can have a lot of mind chatter, a lot of energy from the mind telling you got to do this, you got to do that, oh, blah, 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 and you're always in your mind instead of, stillness, mindfulness, where, everything's got more order to it. And so therefore, there's a lot more quietness in your mind. Let me know in the chat if you've got a quiet mind or a busy mind, right? Now, we all have both at different times in our life, right? So don't judge yourself. No judgment here. No one else is going to make any judgment either. We have different times in our life where different things happen. So let's start with our physical surroundings, right? So this is the baseline of our pyramid, right? Our physical surroundings. What is in your environment? And maybe right now, take a moment to pause and look around your environment and see, give yourself a bit of an assessment. Like right now, I've got things on the floor in my office here that I saw as I moved around and looked. I saw that I have some, a jumper that I took off yesterday and it's sitting on the floor. So it caught my eye, right? What's in your environment that is going in, like, it's really quick. It's this little tiny microsecond of, it caught my eye, I saw it, I knew that it was there, and I didn't put it away, right? I didn't put it away, right? So look around your environment. What are some of the things that may be holding you in patterns of behaviors from previous, experiences? What are some of the things that are holding you in patterns, right? Like that jumper on the floor, to me, represents the fact that I was busy yesterday and I didn't take the time to pick it up and put it away. So go around, look around, what's in your environment that is holding you in patterns from childhood or old patterns of behavior that you really know don't serve you anymore. So that's one thing. Have a look, maybe even make an assessment if you want to sit and write it down at the same time. Just a quick assessment of where you're at. Now, there's another part of this. Look around. Are there things in your environment that you don't like but you've kept because your auntie gave it to you, or your sister or your brother, or like there's some sort of obligation to keep in it? Is there things in your environment that as you look at it, it actually has this moment where you're sparked and you think just instantly, like, oh yeah, I didn't really like that painting, or I didn't like that decoration, that these memories that can happen. So just look around your environment. What's in your environment that actually doesn't serve you anymore? That actually, I actually was working with, every so often I take on male clients, and I've got one that's in Michigan at the moment. And we did this assessment the other day as part of his session, but, a longer version of this. And he looked and he realized that he had a painting directly in front of his computer where he looked every single day, and it was hey Irene, it was a painting that he had commissioned for a woman that he was interested in, and by the time the painting came, she told him she wasn't interested, and it all fizzled out. And here was this painting, beautiful painting, he described it and everything, but every time he looked at it, he was reminded of this woman and how it didn't pan out, right? And so through the process, he has removed that painting, put it into another room until he's ready to do something with it, because he's not ready yet. But he said the energy shifted straight away in his office, and things have started flowing in his business, right? These things are really subtle, ladies. So what's in your environment that doesn't serve you because you're obligated to have it? Now, the third thing, what is in your environment that you absolutely love? And it's really creating a sense of peace and love and harmony. I want to share with you one of mine, right? I've got this little tiny plant. I love plants. Look at this tiny little thing. He's got little flower leaves another one that's growing. I've got plants everywhere. I've got crystals. I've got little ornaments. This is my blue dragon, which represents Tim, right? Because there's a long story to that, but he is my blue dragon. I've got crystals. I have a fighter fish in a beautiful jar, like a vase here, that moves around, and I get to watch him whenever I'm feeling like I want to contemplate. I've got some really beautiful things that really connect to me. This is a beautiful Fibonacci crystal that I've got. So what have you got in your environment? I mean, look at behind me, this beautiful painting of the three women. I had that commissioned from a beautiful friend of mine, Marianne. Oh my gosh, Marianne, I'll have to put her name in here because I've totally forgotten. Marianne Toe. And she's actually a descendant from Van Gogh, right? I commissioned that, and I love it because it's the mother maiden crone, right? And so what have you got in your environment that really fills you up, lifts you up, right? So that's the environment. Now, what about behaviors? What are some of your daily practices and habits that are serving you? And what are some of your daily habits and behaviors that are limiting you? What do you do on a regular basis towards what it is that you want to create in your life and the beautiful relationships you want? And what do you do that you know doesn't serve you anymore, but it's such a habit that you find yourself doing it anyway? And sometimes you don't catch yourself until after you've done it, right? So that's another one. Just reflect on that. Where are you at when it comes to your behaviors and practices on a daily basis? Thinking about your habits. Like, for example, we have got lots going on. Tim and I have got lots going on. And so we have started a new habit of getting up early, right? 4 o'clock in the morning, so that we can just chill and spend time in our own space and go for a walk and do all the things that we want to do before we start the day, right? Because the day was starting, waking up, and bang, we were on. And so now we've got the opportunity. We heard that the planets were all aligned yesterday, so we got up and we went for a drive to the beach. Pitch dark, little bit of moon, and we looked at the planets. They weren't as good as the last time that we did that. They were a lot further away from each other. But we got up and we were at the beach and listened to the ocean. Really beautiful way to start the day, right? Some of the habits that we were both eating too much chocolate, and so we realized what we were doing, and we've stopped that habit, right? So we've replaced it with a healthier treat instead. So what is it that you're doing towards what you want to create? Because, we've just started. We're halfway through the year, and so many people get to the end of the year and say, wow, that went fast. And it's because we're not conscious of what we're doing on a daily basis. We're not conscious of what we want to create. We get caught back in the muggle world of just doing the grind, listening to the news, being conditioned that everything's going sideways and bad and the economy's slipping and blah, 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 blah. And we listen to all of that and go into the fear and doubt and overwhelm instead of staying focused on what we want to create, taking control of our own magic, our own power. We have the ability to create amazing things. And so it's really important to be aware of what you're doing on a daily basis. When it comes to what you want to create, what are you doing when it comes to your capability? Is there skills that you need to acquire? Tools that you need? Are there things that you could, coaches that you could be getting to support you in one way or another, right? Mindset, clearing things, keeping you motivated and inspired and focused. What is it that you could be doing to support you to level up? Beliefs. This is a big one. Are you being affected by what's going on in the world? Because the world beliefs are very interesting, right? When we're in listening to what's going on in the world, and I'm not saying poke your head in the sand and don't be ignorant, but what I am saying is if you're affected by what's on the news, what you're hearing out there in the world, people talking, if you're affected by it and triggered, then I would be ignoring it. When you can get to a place where you're not triggered by what's going on, you're neutral, you're stepping out of the system and you're seeing, because ladies, all the way through history, we have had recessions, we have had, trauma, we have had devastation, we have had all of these things. We are hearing more of it because we've got the internet now. But these things, famines and viruses and all sorts of crazy stuff, has always been going on. Nothing's new when it comes to that. But we get plugged into it because we listen to the TV, we listen to other people that are plugged in, news, media, social media, all of the things. All the things that are keeping you plugged in to we're in a bad situation, that we can't do this just in case this happens, right? When we're in that, we are lowering our vibration and we're in overwhelm, stress, fight, flight, fawn, all of those things. We're in that space of reacting to the world. However, when you're in an empowered place, when you've unplugged and you see that you are a magical woman that has the ability to create whatever she wants, when you let go and you can see, you can observe what's going on in the world, right? However, you can, in this world but not of it, right? Being aware that you have the ability to create whatever you want to, because it's not reliant on what's happening in the world. Because I can guarantee you, I could give you story after story of people that have succeeded in the middle of a crisis. I know myself personally, when all of the stuff happened a couple of years ago and everyone went into shutdown mode and freaked out and locked down and all of those things, because I'm connected to my higher self, because I listen to the wisdom, because I'm intuitive, and we all are intuitive, but are you listening and taking action? Just before it, I'd been doing in-person events. Just before all that happened, I had a nudge to create an online course. And I created an online course and was in halfway through it when all of the stuff happened a few years ago. And so my whole world just went, I pivoted, put everything online, did my meetups online, A lot of people that were doing meetups stopped doing them because they couldn't do them in person. I just pivoted and put them all online, and my whole business exploded. And I know a number of people that had exactly the same thing. People meeting people that were in elation, in a higher frequency, that was a great thing to happen. While there were others that weren't, that completely disconnected, went into fear, chaos, all of the things. So you can't tell me that what's going on in the planet has anything to do with your ability to create. If you believe that, then that's a limitation that you have that you need to clean up. You have the ability to create whatever you want. You just need to believe that and know it in your bones. It's actually in your DNA. You just have to access it. So what is it that you're allowing yourself to believe that's holding you back in your day-to-day from actually accessing whatever it is that you want to access, creating all of the good things in your life? Because it's the day-to-day moments, right? It's the day-to-day moments that make up those little incremental moments that make up the year. And are you going to be one of these people that gets to the end of the world, end of the year, and go, oh my gosh, that went quick, didn't it? Yes, it's going quick, but what are you creating? Are you in alignment with what you want to create in your life? So, comes to your identity. What is it that you believe about yourself? What parts of you is holding you back, needing to be cleaned up? What are the beliefs that you have about not being good enough? Fear of the unknown. Not recognizing your power. Not allowing yourself to, because you've had past lives where you were burnt at the stake, or you were ridiculed or killed, or whatever it is. And those past life frequencies are affecting your now moment, right? You have an opportunity to step forward and to meet someone, or to be in love, or to have a wholesome conversation with someone that you're already in a relationship with. Child, partner, brother, sister, mother, father. And something shifts when you're in that process and you go into sabotage beliefs, that you're incapable or whatever. Those things, those vibrations are also holding you back. Throw in the chat if this resonates. What is it that you believe about yourself that is holding you back from actually experiencing your truest, purest spirit, being connected completely with yourself? And the last one, so each one is layered on top of each other, right? So we've got the environment, what's in our surroundings, our daily habits, our behavior, our capability. What is it that we're choosing to create, and do we need to build some skills around that? Our beliefs from others in the world. Our identity, so we're, going up the steps, right? Our identity, what we believe about ourselves. And the last one is our ecology. All of our family systems, our culture, the beliefs that we grew up with, the society of our family, the bloodline. What are some of the things that are going on in your family dynamics, your culture, that may be holding you back, right? Because this is still being plugged into a system. You are more than just your culture. You are more than just your family dynamics. Yes, you came in and you birthed yourself into being. I'm sure your mother was part of that, but you know, here you are, umbilical cord cut. All of a sudden, you're a, you know, a human being, and through that process, you start believing all of these things because you're seeing them. You're seeing them on a regular basis. You're seeing how to behave. I was having a conversation with my daughter. We went to the shops the other day, and we were in an Asian grocery store, and there was two of the staff members in another aisle, and they were talking in whatever, you know, language. It wasn't as English, and they were getting really heated, and I looked at Carly and I'm like, oh, they're having a bit of a fight there, you know. And she said, maybe not. She said, I've had been with people that are speaking in a different language, and I have asked them, you know, did you just have a fight? Oh, no, we were just talking. Different languages have different passion, right? Depending on, you know, the circumstances, the culture, all of those things, right? Different cultures, you know. Germans seem to have the, you know, the stigma of being very serious and structured, you know. You know, there's American and Australian. Australians easygoing and laid back, right? We've got these cultures, and yet we unplug from all of this and go back into our pure spirit, and we are actually just beings that don't have any of that, that's, you know, causing us to feel heavy in our body. And some of that stuff might be great. It might serve us. I mean, obviously it does, because we chose to come down into this body at this time, in this culture, at this, you know, generation, all of those things. They're serving us in one way. However, they will be limiting us if we see them as a burden and we are identifying with them and nothing else. We're tethered to that and nothing else, right? When we see ourselves as this and only this, that's a problem. When we get caught up in who we are, instead of recognizing ourselves as way more powerful, then we limit ourselves from creating everything that we want to create. And we all have the ability. Ladies, I just had another realization that I can't believe I missed. I had this thing that, how did I miss this? So for those that have been watching for a while, you know that I'm in this beautiful relationship with this man that I met at the beach. Only two on the beach, very romantic experience, you know, like definitely like in the movies, right? I didn't say yes straight away like in the movies. I didn't recognize that he was my man. I felt completely comfortable with him and was friends with him from the start. But it took a while for me to really open my heart to him. So for those that have been hanging around for a while, you know that his last name is Makepeace, right? And what are the odds? I've been a healer for 25 years. You know, it only dawned on me yesterday. We had a big laugh about this. Yesterday I realized his last name is Makepeace. Didn't make it up. Grew up with that. It's really his last name. Guess what my last name was growing up? You wouldn't believe it, but my last name, my maiden name, is Payne. P-A-Y-N-E. I grew up as a Payne, and now I'm a Makepeace. Like, seriously, when you're in alignment and you're following what I call the rabbit trail, right? You're following the white rabbit down the rabbit hole into Wonderland, seeing yourself as magical, recognizing your power, knowing all of these things about you is true, letting go of the judgments on the other side of the looking glass. When you are in this space, You can't make this stuff up. Alignment is full of magic. It's amazing. So ladies, what is it that you're creating? What are you choosing? What are your desires? What's getting in the way? What are all the objections you're having? I am no different to you. I'm here. I was born through my mother. I cried when they cut the umbilical cord and smacked me on the bum or whatever they did. Put needles in me, all of those things. When you line up with your higher self, you have the ability to create full-on miracles. Miracles and coincidences, they call them. But when you get to the point, like I've been with Tim for 2.5 years, and I've only just realized that bit about the pain and the makepeace. Like, these things just happen. So where are you when it comes to your magic? I want you to reflect on that. Take a moment, sit down, be in your own energy, look at all these different parts of your life, see what's going on in your environment. What do you need to shift? What are you letting go of? What are you getting more of? You want your environment to be full of joy and love and things that make you happy, right? Like these beautiful plants and these crystals and all the things. Look at what I bought the other day. This beautiful shell. Just the little things, right? I've got it sitting here in front of me because these are the things that bring me joy. So what brings you joy? Put it in the chat. Love to hear. And next week, so this is every Tuesday at 8:30. Actually, ladies, I'd love to get some feedback. Is 8:30 okay? I think that 8:30 is, works out really well for me. It's a really good time for me because it's just after my group coaching call with Conscious Creator Circle. Mondays were a bit too hard because I was just feeling, Sundays I like to chill out. Mondays I felt like I needed some, get back into the swing of work or whatever. And so I decided to do Tuesday because, I've already had a day of getting back into it. And Tuesdays is like, Tuesday, I like the idea of it. But does Tuesday at 8:30 work for you? I want some feedback because this group is for you, not just for me. So if I can get some feedback from you, whether Tuesdays at 8:30 works, and if it doesn't, we can tweak it depending on how many people say. I'd love to listen on the live, because when you're listening on the live, by the way, it gives me the opportunity for, as I'm talking, that I can be answering your questions or engaging with you, and we can have a discussion, right? Because this is not me just talking at you. I want to be able to support you and to have a conversation so that we're both pausing over the week and having the opportunity to reflect, because that is one of the things that we're missing in the world at the moment, is the opportunity to pause and reflect, refine, and then step forward from that place. Too much go, go, go all the time. So let me know in the chat if 8:30 on a Tuesday works for you. Next week, we are talking about mending a broken heart. Throw in the chat, ladies, if you feel like you've had a broken heart before, because I know I have. It's a big topic. So I will catch you next Tuesday, where we would be discussing mending a broken heart. Mwah. Enjoy your week, and I'll catch you soon.